Hey, morning everybody. Fortunately, we managed to ascertain that there are a couple of new people in the audience. So I produced, first of all, a few slides just saying what is FIRE, just to give you the framework of where FIRE sits, what we do.
Just to see if we were waiting in the right room.
So at least it wasn't a waste of time preparing them. And then I will say a little bit about what FIRESTATIon has done and where we see this going forward into amplifier, and then Hans will put more detail on the amplifier part. So from the point of view of FIRESTATIon, if we look at the FIRE framework, for those that don't know what FIRE does, it has two main components. First of all is the research projects, the STREPs inside the FIRE community. These identify some requirements and they do research to just find solutions for those requirements. On the right-hand side of the model are the usage of the experimental facilities. These are provided by IP projects. So these provide the test infrastructures, which may be federated or may be individual test infrastructures on which the researchers perform their experiments. Throughout the progress of FIRE, these infrastructures have also been opened up to outside communities through this process of open calls and now more recently open access. If we look at the sort of projects that are funded inside FIRE, there are coordination and support actions. This is where FIRESTATIon belongs and where amplifier belongs. Also later in the morning you will hear from Fusion, which is specifically targeting SMEs. Then there are these IP projects, the ones providing the experimental facilities. A number of those are coming towards the end. The ones in the dark blue boxes are coming towards an end, although often many of the component test beds inside those infrastructures will continue through some sort of open access process, for example. So a lot will still remain available. And then in the light blue boxes are the ones that were added more recently. Then on the bottom are the STREPs. These are the projects that are doing the research. These are the projects that are looking to work in specific areas to find solutions for particular future internet research topics. And again, a number of them, the ones in the light blue were the ones that, the ones on the bottom are the ones that started earlier. The ones in the light green are the ones that have just recently started and will continue for the next 2 or 3 years. It has a history. On the left-hand side, you can see the projects that have already finished. In terms of achievements, what I would like to say on the next couple of slides is what support have we given? We were a support action, so clearly our achievements are that we've given support in certain areas. And I've split these areas into 3 parts. The support that we've given for the IP projects, the experimental facilities, the support that we've given for the STREPs, the research projects, and finally the support that we've given for the EC. So in terms of the IP projects, these are the test beds. Inside the FIRE community, we set up what we call an architecture board. Now, this is not a technical architecture board, it's a meeting place for mainly the IP projects. A couple of the research projects were also invited where they had infrastructures to offer. And in this community, in this architecture board, we had a very free, open exchange of information, also with many EC representatives. In the beginning, we discussed topics such as the open calls. How would we manage the open calls? How would we process the open calls? We've also discussed topics like sustainability, like the future of FIRE, when we were looking where should FIRE go in Horizon 2020. These were also topics discussed inside this architecture. We've also identified a few areas in which there were common topics between a number of the IP projects. So we call these working groups, and we encouraged the development of these working groups, and one of them, a particularly successful one, was one on measurement and tools, and they're giving a parallel workshop here in Dublin today. At the beginning, when the open call process was new, we organised open call information days where people could share guidelines, we could share templates for the proposal evaluations, we could share experiences. Then in the next to the last bullet point, we've supported always these hands-on FIRE demonstrations, and from tomorrow until Friday on the ground floor, experimental demonstration areas from these projects. Some of these are IPs. those events, producing descriptions of each of the projects, producing additional documentation of stories from the STREP projects, for example. And then we set up a website portal. You can go into the FIRE website, you can see what sort of projects are available, and if you're looking for experiment platforms in, say, networking, you can go to the networking slot and you can see which projects there support networking experimentation. You can find your way down to the particular project that you might want to contact to make your experimentation. ict-fire.eu. And for the STREP projects, we've organised specific workshops for the STREP projects, more technical workshops, one in Budapest, one in Ghent. And again, for some of the STREP projects, they've taken part in the hands-on fire demonstrations at these FIRE events, and you'll see some of them downstairs, say, from tomorrow. We've also helped them produce additional documentation and helped in the process with establishing their demonstrations and the work that the EC's been doing to organise the stands and the additional technical stuff. In terms of support that we've given for the EC, we've provided this architecture board as I think, a very nice platform for the EC to contact in a relatively informal way with the IP projects. We've created, I would say, a lot of publicity through the website, through social media tools, through regular news items, newsletters. If you're not on the newsletter list, then let myself or Tassos know. We've created always a portfolio analysis every year which explains which of the projects that are involved in the fire community, how they link together. These are summarised in the fire brochure. We've created success stories from the project to give you an idea of if you want to make an experimentation. It gives you an idea of what other people have done in the past, so you can see the sort of things that you can do and the sort of results that you could expect. And always at these FIRE events and in other events we have an information kiosk where you can learn more about what fire is about. We've provided inputs to the role of fire in Horizon 2020. We've helped to produce a document that describes what the KPIs will be from fire projects and from fire as a whole. And we will continue through Amplifier to measure those and to analyse the results. We've given support for external relations. You'll see one of those in the next couple of presentations with Canada, the links that we have with Canada. Links with the US have been through the GENI initiative. EU-Korea, we've made presentations. They've also been, to a lesser extent, with EU-Japan, EU-China, EU-South Africa, but these were probably the main ones that we had more regular contact with. We've had some contact with national initiatives, such as the G Lab in Germany, F Lab in France, PL Lab in Poland, and we've had some contacts with the FIPPP community, particularly to get the test infrastructures from fire, to get those already registered into the ZIPI, so-called ZIPI registry from the FIPPP run by the Infinity project. Going forward, my last slide before I hand over to Hans, where we see this, the architecture board going forward is in something like a fire forum, whatever the name becomes. We will continue to discuss topics like the fire vision, like the impact and effectiveness of fire through the KPIs. We will expand the community a little bit wider. We will continue to support the fire events. We will look at involving the FIPPP and other fire external initiatives. We will look at also continuing the work of the working groups where we find common topics between the members. And inside this fire forum, there will also be continued discussions on sustainability, probably led by the project Fed for Fire. In addition, Amplifier inside the project itself will continue the work on the portfolio analysis, so we will continue to document the status of the fire projects and how they fit together. We will continue to support the fire web portal. We will continue to produce newsletters for the external community. And inside Fed for Fire, they will work more on a technical portal, how you can reserve resources across heterogeneous infrastructures. And in conjunction with Fusion, we will look at involving more the SMEs. So these are the sort of tasks going forward that Hans will present in more detail in this presentation. Okay, thank you for your attention.